Please welcome SAS VP of Industry and Market Strategy, Tom Ream.
How's everybody's afternoon going? Good? I mean, we could be back in the office, sitting at a desk, probably on a Zoom call. I think listening to our peers, hearing some great stories, collaboration, a much better way to spend the afternoon and day. So I'm happy to be here with you all. Okay, let me ask you to kind of begin by imagining a massive cargo ship, right? Traveling down a floating city the size of 3 football fields, bigger. A ship that's part of an interconnected, intricate network, one that is so immense and so interdependent that a disruption like the one that happened here in 2021 with the Ever Given, a ship that blocked the Suez Canal for more than 6 days, causing really a global impact to the economy from this supply chain disruption. In fact, there were 400 ships queued up with more than $10 billion worth of goods that couldn't get out to all of us. This is the kind of impact that is massive. And although I'm talking about a supply chain here, the supply chain, as complex as it is, as large as it is, as interdependent as it is, so too is the data landscape. You think about the data that we're working with every day, where it comes from different parts of the world, the regulations that have to be considered, privacy, maybe bias inside that data. We also have dirty data, the cleansing that has to happen to it. And the volume and velocity of it all can feel overwhelming. Maybe even like you're on the brink of your own data disruption because our businesses can't run without the data. Now, on the other side of it, it also represents just an unprecedented area of opportunity for us. An opportunity to leverage data and AI to scale human productivity and decision making. Now, when we say scaling human productivity and decision making, that's really what we're really trying to drive towards. Being able to make better decisions, faster decisions. We've heard a lot about speed and scalability today. And that's what I'm talking about here is in the decision-making realm, utilizing data and AI to drive that forward. Now, data and AI is complex, and it's ever-changing, which makes it more complex. What was happening 2 years ago is much different than what's happening today. And our landscapes, our ecosystems of technology are vastly changing. But the opportunity is there. And in fact, the formula is fairly simple. When we can use data and AI to make better decisions and achieve better outcomes, then our learning rate is increased. And when we can learn faster, we see things before our competition. When we can learn faster, we can mitigate risk to our business. When we learn faster, we can embrace the future. It empowers us to be more agile and resilient, and maybe even fearless in the face of change. Quite frankly, learning faster is what it's all about in being a winning organization. It's what it takes to win. Now, let me share a few examples of organizations who are learning faster. Now, this first one is a government tax authority in Northern Europe. And they were challenged with being able to maximize tax revenues and really get a handle on the increasing and growing level of fraud and tax evasion that was going on. And so you can imagine the amount of data that sits within all of the different government systems, as well as some of the public systems where the data was coming from on people's financials. They embarked on a journey with us in 2023 to be able to bring all of this data together to apply AI and put in place a world-class fraud detection system. They did so. The result of that, in being able to handle all of that data, is a decrease in fraud by over 650 million pounds and an increase in overall tax revenue of 7 billion pounds. That's an example of you leveraging data and AI to learn faster, to get results. I'll share another one. Georgia Pacific, a leading pulp and paper manufacturer here in the United States. They embarked on a journey about 2 to 3 years prior to the pandemic where they were harnessing the data within their manufacturing facilities. They had over 140 different facilities. They wanted to improve the uptime and optimize the yield coming out of their facilities. Now, in doing so, they were leveraging some AI at the time and machine learning, utilizing both SAS and open source algorithms. And they wanted to be able to get the benefits of both because they had data scientists in the organization that were utilizing both, and then pull that together, govern that a bit better, and then get better results for it. Well, they did. First thing they were able to do was reduce unplanned downtime. They improved that by 10% in improving the equipment efficiency. They operated with 15,000 models running across these 140 different plants. And when the pandemic came about, Georgia Pacific, a producer of toilet paper, and by the way, with the, you might want to run out now and get some too. There seems to be a run on toilet paper again with the emerging or pending supply chain disruption that may come. Please don't create that run on that again. But as a result, they didn't feel the impact that a lot of their competitors did and were able to increase their revenues through that process. They've also embarked on a journey to use computer vision to improve safety within their manufacturing plants, as well as they're beginning to test large language models together with the data that they have on the equipment, and then be able to provide instructions for their repair technicians to accelerate their productivity. And most recently, they have a project they're doing now where they want to improve their forecast accuracy. And this is something we've done with companies for a number of years, but they've estimated that a 1% improvement will give them $27 million to their bottom line. Their goal is a 5 to 7% improvement. So that's about $350 million. And projects underway right now, we're seeing really good results, not in production yet, but pretty encouraging. And then the last example I'll give you is HSBC. Now, this is a large bank. You probably heard of them in the UK. And what they were trying to tackle was their lending decisioning. They wanted to improve how they were doing lending decisioning. Now, they were already a customer of SAS. We worked with them on this particular project using our customer intelligence solution, as well as our decisioning capability. And if you can imagine, what they were looking to drive towards is, how do I take all of the different applications and ensure I get more applications, assess the risk more efficiently, provide an incredible customer experience, identify and reduce any fraud that might be happening, and overall improve my bottom line. They did this. And some of the results that they saw was a 500% increase in customer conversions. These are customers that they did provide lending to, 10x reduction in marketing execution time, and over 200% improvement in their ROI. So 3 examples of what learning faster looks like. And, as an organization that's been in this business of what we now call data and AI, we used to call analytics, it's something that we've been doing, and we have a large customer install base of over 17,000 customers, and that was just 3 examples of those who have SAS at the core. Now, I do want to say, and I said 5 decades, I'm sure some of you who may be closer to my age maybe used SAS back in college, right? That was the programming language for analytics back then. Now we have many alternatives, Python being the most popular. and one that we embrace as well. So when you hear me talk about SAS, don't think I'm talking about the programming language. That is a language, one that we invented because it didn't exist, right, at that time. But we're more about the platform of leveraging data and AI to provide better decisions. We are a cloud-native data and AI company, and it's all about helping to empower decisions in those moments that matter. So as I introduce kind of what we do here in a bit deeper level, I want to kind of pause first, and I'm going to come back to it towards the end about what does this have to do with SingleStore, right? SingleStore is a strategic partner for SAS. It's somebody that we've been doing a lot of work with for last couple of years now. We have customers that are running SingleStore and SAS together and seeing tremendous benefits of it. One of the things that aligns really well between our two companies is we are very much both focused on speed, scalability, and simplicity, right? And you heard a lot of that from Raj this morning, and I think that's been a theme throughout the day. But let me touch on our portfolio and how it's providing choice for our customers, and then where SingleStore fits within there. So the center of it all is SAS Viya. That is our foundational engine of everything. That is our platform, if you will. But that platform enables a number of different things. I'm going to start with this first area, which is all about the tools that we're providing for developers, right? So building your own AI, think of it that way. Now, foundationally at that, we believe, and I'm going to say it here, we have the fastest, most productive data and AI platform on the planet. Now, that's a pretty bold statement to be standing up here saying, but I'm going to share with you why we say that. So we have done external benchmarks. We didn't do it. Other firms have done it for us. And they looked at SAS and they compared it to commercial data and AI platforms and open source platforms. So, think of Spark, H2O, things such as that. On the productivity side, we look at this data and AI life cycle here. Now, it starts with question and ends in decision, right? And you go through a process of data engineers, of managing data. Then you go through developing models. That's where your data scientists are typically playing. Your DevOps people are deploying the insights into your operational systems or other systems that you have in place, and decisions are made. And this isn't just a one-time linear process. It's something that happens over and over and over again. And so when we say productivity, and the benchmarks showed that we were 4 times more productive, right? That's not 4 times faster of an algorithm running, right? That's human productivity. Imagine if you were able to do 4 times more in a day, right? How much more productive could we be, right? It's 4 times more. So how did they get to that? This was the average. They looked at that question side of it, right, with a particular data question that was out there, and looked at how long does it take to do the managed data function. And on average, we were 16 times faster. Sorry, that was that. On the developing models side of it, 3.5 times faster. And on the DevOps side of it, 4.5 times faster. That's how we got to that 4x overall. Again, this is an external study. If you're interested in seeing it, the company that did it is Futurum, Futurum. I would have a barcode on it, but that study just released last week, so we don't have my barcode up yet. But if you're interested, you could see that. Performance is about speed and scalability. So now we're talking about your algorithms running faster. Another benchmark, this one was done about 1.5 years ago, again, looking at both the commercial vendors as well as some of the open source. We were on average 30 times faster. So our algorithms ran 30 times faster. And that was based on about 1,500 tests of varying degrees of complexity. We went against the commercial vendors, 49 times faster. And when you got to the really complex algorithms, 326 times faster. Do have a barcode here if you're interested in seeing that. You can read about that particular report. Okay, I want to come back now to these tools for the developers. So we like to think of it as builders of AI in that top bucket, Solutions is more the buyers of AI. These are solutions that are pre-built. And then the models, I'll go into a bit deeper. These are subscribers of AI. So on the platform side, kind of going back to that life cycle here, it's about providing developers the tools that they need to efficiently and effectively build models, to wrangle the data that they need to be able to work, for example, with SingleStore and some of the benefits they're providing there, to be able to ingest that data, to be able to build the models, train the models, test the models, and then deploy and monitor those models once they're in production, which oftentimes becomes a very big challenge for a lot of organizations. You've probably seen some of the data that's out there that shows that more than half of the models that are built never get deployed, right? Because of all the challenges through this process. So this is about providing developers the tools that they need to effectively build AI solutions. I'll move into the second area. These are solutions. So think of these as ready-made, pre-built solutions that cover a number of different areas supporting a number of different industries, right? These are generally, the consumers of these are more business users. It may be your marketing department, your risk department, your fraud department, supply chain organizations within there. One thing I think is really important to note is these are not use-based architectures, right? These are versionable solutions where our R&D organization has been working, in some cases, decades on in evolving these and providing more and more capabilities. They come with purpose-built AI, data models, business user workflows, and more. And then finally, an area that I'm really excited and is very new for us in our portfolio is models. So these are models as a product, right? So we are going into the business now of just selling models, right? So you want to build AI, use our platform tools. You want to buy a solution, we have our solution areas. And these are models that are much narrower in scope that you can integrate through APIs into your business workflows, okay? So we just released the first set, not all of these, just 2 of them about 2 weeks ago. This is what we'll have by the end of this year. So these are all the things in the pipeline going through testing right now that will go out into the marketplace. The first 2 that went out was AI-driven entity resolution, so being able to look at your data and really do a much better job of aligning and cleansing and organizing. And then document analysis, which allows you in a very efficient and batch mode to take in unstructured documents that you may have within your organization, coupled with OCR, optical character recognition, and our model, natural language processing and envisioning, and be able to process just thousands and millions of these and make that into structured data that the organization can use. So those are the first 2, and then we've got a number of other ones that are touching very specific narrow problems. Give you one more example, like this one. If you're familiar with the SNAP program, right? That is, it's a welfare program that provides people the ability to use a card to go out and buy food, right? Sometimes there's fraud associated with that. This is a specific model that helps to identify that fraud that we'll be working with governments on, okay? So that is our models area. Now, let me shift over to what we're doing with SingleStore. So I talked about the speed and the scalability and the simplicity, and that's really what our relationship is about. Here, what we have been doing is offering SAS and SingleStore together, and we've made it very seamless for our customers. They can work directly with SingleStore, or they can work just with SAS, and it's almost like an OEM where SingleStore is inside. It's the database inside that we can offer to them. It does a number of benefits that it provides. It simplifies the data architecture. It helps accelerate the data ingestion. It minimizes data movement. I mean, all the things that you know SingleStore for is now here together with SAS. It runs on-premise, it runs in the cloud, or even on the edge. So there's a number of capabilities that we're providing together with SAS and SingleStore. Let me share with you an example a proof point of one of our customers that we have in place. This is Poston. They are the Norwegian Postal Service. So think of the United States Postal Service. This is the Norwegian one. And just like we are dealing with more and more packages showing up on our doorsteps every single day, I thank my wife for that one, people in Norway are experiencing the same thing, right? So that is putting a stress on companies like Poston, who is trying to deal with all of the parcels that are coming in. They had 2 data warehouses. They saw the size of the data growing, their costs were growing. So they came to SAS and SingleStore together to say, help solve this problem, and that we did. So we've been able to increase handle their increasing data volumes, provide them real-time insights on the data that they have so they understand where parcels are and what's happening, and they can provide better customer service. And then another key benefit is reducing the storage, which then resulted in a better total cost of ownership. Just to give you a few stats on some of the benefits that they see more from a technical perspective. 100 times improvement in the queries. They were able to read tables 4 times faster. Their batch jobs ran 5 times faster. And just in joining tables alone, 100 times faster, okay? So these are some nice impressive numbers, but what does that mean from a cost of ownership? Well, things run faster and they run in the cloud. So things are running faster, your cloud consumption costs are going down. And most importantly, they're getting insights back so that they can provide better customer service to their constituents. I also want to touch on some future integration that's going on. So I just mentioned these models that we're beginning to offer. And let me build this one out here. What we're working on right now, and in fact, we have some things in test, and we're seeing really good performance on it, is where these models can actually run inside the SingleStore cluster. So we're embedding that down into the cluster. The request can be made to run the model runs and very quickly, as you can imagine, and then the output can be provided to a client like SAS Visual Analytics, our BI tool, maybe Microsoft Power BI, or any other type of output system. So that's what we're working on right now, and as we move through this, we're going to see that for all of our models, and this is going to grow pretty quickly. Oops. All right, I'm going to get into a wrap-up here now. I just want to touch on 3 things, performance, productivity, and trust. I've touched on a couple. And then I didn't go a lot into generative AI because we've been talking about it all day, but I do want to make the point that SAS does not have a single generative AI product, right? We don't offer a large language model, right? We leverage all of them that are out there, and we put generative AI into pretty much everything we're doing. So for the builders of AI, code generation capabilities, we have what we call VIA copilots in there. Within our solutions, we're putting VIA copilots within our solutions to help the business users be able to move through that. And even some of the models work together with large language models. So generative AI is a part of all of it. So wrapping up, when we talk about performance, we see this as speed, faster time to insights, scalability, not being limited by the size of your data or the complexity of the algorithm, and then cost, being able to lower the cost because the algorithms are running faster and they're finishing, right? Because your cloud provider doesn't give you a refund when your job doesn't finish, right? So it's lowering the costs there. So that's a huge advantage from a performance perspective that we're able to offer. On the productivity side, think of productivities as the outcomes, the results, right? So generally, I gave the example of human productivity, but it doesn't always have to be human productivity. It's being able to capture or reduce more fraud, or being able to make more offers to a customer and get higher turnover in terms of conversions. Right? And that's driven through automation, automation across all those steps of the life cycle, AI automation, integration with open source, integration with each of the steps in that data and AI life cycle, and then collaboration. Your business users, your data engineers, your data scientists, your business leaders, all being able to work from a common environment. And then this last one, I haven't touched on much, but it's really the most important, trust. Because you could have productivity and we could have performance, but if we can't trust the results, it really doesn't mean much. And I think it's important for us to know and recognize, I think we all know it, but recognize that AI is rooted in mathematics that studies the past to make predictions about the current state and the future. And so if the data from the past has bias in it or is underrepresented, then it's likely that the decisions or the predictions it's going to make is also going to be biased and have unfairness built into it. It's going to affect our organizations and our business. So we need software that is ethical, equitable, and sustainable. And it's important that the answers that it's providing to us are explainable, easily explainable, right? That they are transparent and that they are accurate. And it's the three of these things together that we see as really enduring qualities that provides a unique distinction for SAS Viya and our partnership with SingleStore. So if you'd like to find out more about what we're doing with SingleStore, again, another QR code for you there. And it's been a pleasure to speak with you today. Thank you.